You hear me?
Yeah, now I can. You're muted.
So, what do we want to focus on? Or we're going to focus on methodology, but
Yeah, methodology.
we'll focus
Interesting.
on what to be our topics. There's so many options here. I think, basically understanding where methodology fits into the network, and in
Yeah.
this case, Vortex. And then for me, I think even though it's a slight tangent, I wouldn't mind talking quickly about, the SVG FQN relationship and moving forward.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
And then as far as actual methodologies, like there's obviously, this whole new model of the vortex. Maybe we could also go over like just the overall model of models concept, vocabulary concept, right? It's like, what do we call this? And I think there's really one name. Um,
Yeah, and maybe if also if we can have a topic on science, I think that science is something that I mean we should make it a priority, right? We want to launch with science. Also, finally get the name right.
yeah, well, that's what I was going over in terms of vocabulary, like the overall models of models.
Uh-huh.
Like sensei would be included in that. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more it's like, sensei is really just one component of like a broader model.
Yeah,
And
of
so it
course.
just makes sense to just have it's just one model. It's like this model of models is just one thing, and it's it's like a modular model of methods, right?
Yeah,
We have all the triple M's, right? The modular model of
mother of method,
methods.
right?
God, it's so silly.
Mother. It's cool. Triple M. Yeah, because I think I mean when we first introduced it, it was so exciting, and then we just I don't know, it just faded a bit away. So
Well, for you, it faded away. For me, it's always the focus.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean exactly. So since I saw how much you believe that it's very game changing and everything, I would definitely want to have time to to make it a topic for sure.
I mean, the methods are all the things that we can't train people on, right? So you can't train a method. You can't train a methodology. There's only one way to learn how to do a methodology. Do you know what that is?
One way only to know how to do it. I don't know. I mean,
It's through experience.
experience. I was about to say experience. Yes.
Yeah. So you can't train someone how to do a methodology. You can only show them by example.
Yeah.
Right? So everything else you can have a responsibility organizing and a process organizing and policies, and you can read them and basically get a general idea and do it, right? And you can do the work, right? But when it comes to methodologies, you can't really read a methodology and just understand it. You have to actually experience it in action and actually through that experience is how you begin to understand it. And then even the understanding of the methodology, because we have a dynamic methodology,
Hmm.
it's always changing, which
Yeah.
means that it's growing and evolving. Dynamic modular model of methods. I love it. Yeah. So where should we start? I would say we would start with where methodology fits in. might be good. And then I think the SVG FQN relationship would be really good. And then this overall models of things. I don't know. We could just choose one as well. I don't really. It's all just very exciting.
I don't know. I mean, Jay, you take the lead. What do you think? Also, we could also create topics that, the topic before it also helps to understand, or for me at least, work better on the next topic, because they're all
I didn't,
related. Yeah.
I didn't understand the last part, but yeah, I would just for sure the starting point is just understanding where methodology fits in, right?
Hmm.
Then you have our SVG FQN relationship. I mean, this is just like super key, right? Just like so this is just like quick 5 minutes, quick and then just understanding of vocabulary, would be really good to get our vocabulary quick,
Hmm.
We don't have to spend a long time on that because I don't think it matters to actually finish the vocabulary. I'm actually not much of a vocabulary person, but it's just important to be able to talk about things. You can't, without vocabulary, you can't actually, especially when you're always creating new things, you can't talk about it without vocabulary. So
Yeah.
SVG FQN relationship, I mean, this is basically just like, where are we going? What are our options? So this should be very quick. And then we can do a view up, but from here we'll be going into just like the actual vortex models. And like, I would say just, it's almost the best thing to do would be kind of like, to step back and get the methods, list of methods organized, right?
Hmm.
So literally, if we could just leave here with a list of methodology priorities, that would be like the ideal desired outcome.
Hmm.
Because right now we're just so disorganized with the methodologies, we spend no time on them,
Yeah.
and they're always changing and evolving, and it's just like we're so behind on it. And I think that's a huge, we're realizing that is a really big problem.
Yeah. We are.
So why don't we start with these three, and then I think from there we want to just kind of step back, get the list of methods, and then from there we're going to go into one. And I would say the vortex is really kind of the beginning point, because I think this is really the vortex and the vortex and the trajectories. So for me, this is huge because this is what I've been talking about for years, which is that the network model doesn't work. In other words, it doesn't actually produce the goal of what we want to do to transform society.
Yeah.
And we are a network, and it's like we want to be more than a network, right?
It's
And we have
just.
multiple nodes, and they all fit into the network, but it's like the network itself is constraining.
Hmm.
And so I've been talking about this web of like building a web, and I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I wasn't sure how to do it or what it would look like and all these things. And I've been building all these different models, and they weren't really connecting and working. And then yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, we
Hmm.
were in the middle of the session, and I just made that realization that it's like, it's not a web, it's a vortex.
Yeah.
Like that nature functions on the foundation of fractal vortices, and that's what we need. And since that moment just like sparked this like creativity and like imagination, and it's just like, and the fact that it's always ever moving and changing and building on itself. Like a web is static, it doesn't move, it doesn't change, it's just sitting there, right? That's not how nature works. So the idea that it's a moving, changing, evolving, continuously flowing trajectory within a vortex is just it's beautiful. So, and it just makes so much sense, and it connects all the dots together, and it's like finally everything's coming together. So basically what I want to do is build the unity vortex. I want to build the unity, like, or in the community FQN, basically FQN vortex, right? It's FQV.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really excited about it. It's a whole new venture, a whole new adventure. Like this is starting as of like a couple days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, because I mean, you always say that everything that you all your models and are you base yourself on nature, on the human body, and this is definitely true. I mean, at the highest level, we should definitely mirror how the universe spins around. It's all trajectories and vortices, as you are.
But it's not just the universe, it's everything on the planet. Like our entire society, water itself, and the way that like we're all
Yeah,
water beings, and the way that water moves and flows, it's all based on vortices, and like, just all the energy around the planet, it's all based on vortices. It's like there's they're all around us, and
hmm,
inside of our bodies. I mean, you could even see like that our heart is a vortex.
yeah,
Our
yeah,
our mind is just covered in vortexes, like, not to mention our breath and the way that even the way that wind flows as a vortex.
yeah,
Fire, when you look into a fire, there's vortices. The way that the fire flows and the plasma is spinning, it's like all vortices, so it's everywhere around us. And
yeah.
time itself is fractal, right? And fractals are vortices, right? So it's like it's everywhere.
I
and
agree.
and what's so fascinating is that in society, it's not that nature was ever a web or that nature was ever a network. It's just that society's perception of nature is that it's a web. And that's where we get wrong, is our perception clouds are the actuality of existence, and of nature and everything. So for anyways, this is huge, it's big time. I'm really excited about it. Let's skip over all of, like, the introduction of vortices and everything, but let's just start with these three topics. And then the fourth would be, the list. If we get to that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's the overall model of models vocabulary concept? It's higher priority than the list of methodology. I mean, but if we respect this timeline and we go quickly, I mean, then we can spend more time on the list of methodology priorities and
Yeah, well, it's kind of the starting point of the list, right? Because
yeah.
all of the models are obviously priorities in and of themselves, but they're the most important priorities, right? Because the models themselves have to be the focus. And then the rest of the list of priorities is everything we need to do to support the methodologies, right?
Okay, perfect.
So
Okay, I agree. No objections.
like one methodology would be sensei, like what is it, in the segmentation model, right?
Hmm.
And then you have the vortex model, right? That we just went through, and then you've got dot, dot, dot. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of models that we've been talking about. So I'm sure we'll do a really bad job, but we can at least try to remember them all. I mean, we don't even have them documented in any one place. Like, it's like we talk about these things, we don't document it, or this is the first time we're actually trying to pull it all together.
Yeah, this is the first time I have a session on methodology.
Yeah. Right. So let's go into the topic one, which would be basically, let's call it the framework, right? Methodology framework,
Yeah,
and of like how it fits in everything. So for me, this is really important, just to kind of get the
you
bearing here. So
you
the
wanna why don't we take a quick minute break now? It's almost top of the hour, and so that then we go. We can feel without needing to stop the topic, right? To interrupt the topic. What do you think?
Sure, whatever's fine. I mean, for me, the breaks are supposed to be at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour, regardless of where we start. So
Yeah, exactly. So it's in about 4 minutes. So I don't know. Want to take it now, so we go to top of the hour. We can just take a quicker break, 4 minute break, so that we.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Quick
I
break.
wouldn't want to stop in the middle. Right. Thank you.
Well, we're gonna have to stop in the middle eventually, because we take a break every half hour, which is perfectly fine, including right now. So it's fine.
Yeah. Perfect. After